Evening everyone. Just want to drop another quick video tonight, just semi-time sensitive I suppose. But obviously guys, we've had a great couple of weeks on the index, just with the news, the anticipation of the news, and then, you know, boom, here we are. And it kind of feels in a lot of ways like I am in a little time machine or something, like just looking at the prices of everyone. It's just... as I say guys, I started on Football Index and the market cap, as you see there, it's 77 basically and a half thousand. When I started on Football Index it was 12 or 13,000, so so it's just night and day, you know, in terms of what prices were yesterday to today. And as I'm looking at some people, I'm off. Jesus, I can remember when Sani was like £3 and £2, you know, what is it now, to, you know, these type of things. I'm like, oh, it's brilliant. It's great to see them at that price again. And it's worked on me, guys, you know, like, they've done it for a reason. It is to entice people, and I just don't see how I can't. I was thinking about this when I was driving today. In a year's time, we could easily have another share split. Like, see just how attractive and how appealing it is to all the existing users. Plus, when more people come on board, and then any level of money that they're investing is only going to push the market forward, so on and so forth, you know, as things get better, more people are, you know what it's like, you know, when you're doing well, you tell your friends, you want to kind of show off a little bit, like, oh, look at you, lost your 30 quid on a coupon today, I put 30 quid in, and you know, that money will be there for me, and you know, whatever. And in word of mouth, that's how things spread. Anyway, I digress. So with the kind of topic I want to talk to you tonight, I, as of recording, I don't really know what I'm going to call the video, right, but I had a great suggestion on one of my really early videos, and I think this is the absolute perfect time to talk about it, okay? And what I couldn't find the comment of the question of who had done it. You know who you are, and if it's you, leave a comment below, okay? But it's talking about transfers that we know have been completed already. So what you need to think about Football Index, if you're semi-new to the channel, or I've maybe not said it in too long, I don't know, you'll know better than me, is you need to be able to see the crowd coming. You need to be ahead of the game, so that, you know, when you look at your portfolio in a decent time scale, and if you're on this every day, kind of like I am, I'm on it a bit too much, and it really does affect some of my decision making for my personal portfolio sometimes. But holding somebody for a week can feel like a long time, depending on how long you actually interact with the index, how often you check it and you're on it and you're thinking about it and all this type of thing, okay? So bearing in mind that the vast majority of the user base is like that, okay? What's the next bit of news we've got on the horizon? It's on the 16th of April or something to that effect. We are going to have a special media buzz type of thing, dividend over the summer period, right? So again, that's where a lot of people's focus is tuned into. Who's going to be big in the summer? Who's going to have a saga? Who's going to be a drawn-out transfer, you know, and that type of thing. So because that's where a lot of people are thinking, right? What's the great news we've just had is that the dividends have been up on average 28%. And I know everyone is saying this 28% is getting old. Sorry, I had to say it there. Okay. So next season, when everything's equal, you know, everyone's in the Champions League, we've got Wednesday, you know, the Premier League is back to zero, everyone's starting again, another chance for people to shine and make a name for themselves, new players, old players, all that type of thing. So this is where the real benefit is, in my opinion. A media thing over the summer is nice, right? It's good, but the majority of your earnings are going to come from capital appreciation on players, their price moving up off the back of being hot. And Sancho's a great example of this. He's had a great season for Dortmund. And this is the thing about Sancho. I'll get on to the actual topic in a second, sorry. But the thing about Sancho, right, is it feels like everyone thinks he signed for Dortmund yesterday. He didn't sign for them in the summer just gone. He signed for them in the summer before. And he didn't really... you know, he didn't break into the team right away, made some appearances off the bench. You know, he did okay, but if you look at it, he signed there last year, so he had a full season to bed in and then go for it. So some players you might want to be thinking about for next year is, you know, who's maybe set up really well to have a great season next year, okay? And that is a nice little segue into the topic that I think I've already told you, but yeah, transfers have already been completed, right? So don't get me wrong, guys, you want to have some money involved throughout the summer. It's a great opportunity for dividends, and there's some great picks you can have now that are going to be fairly obvious to you, who's going to be appealing most people in the summer. Guys like Jovic, Felix. As I scroll down, there's been some loose chat about Mane and Real Madrid. Don't know how much there is in that. De Ligt is still rumbling on. And then there's, you know, you could pretty much go through this whole list. Kane, anyone, Ozil, anyone really. Julian Brandt's a good one. But there's transfers that we know that are done, okay? Some of them are really high profile. And I'm going to start off with the one that I think could be very interesting this time next year, okay? So we've got Pulisic here. We all know he's signed for Chelsea. He's back on loan at Dortmund, and he'll be returning to Chelsea regardless of the transfer embargo, whatever's going on with that. Regardless, he will be a Chelsea player this time next year, right? Now, Pulisic is young. You might want to call him a wonder kid or whatever. It's not the best season this year, of course, we all know that. But the really interesting thing about Pulisic is that he is American, right? Now, him being in the Premier League, he's probably going to be the best player they've ever produced, right? But being in the Premier League at a top club like Chelsea, we've never had that before. An American, like, proper talent at a top European side. I know he's Dortmund, don't get me wrong, right? But I mean, in terms of football index, you know, your Chelsea's and, you know, that level of club. So next year he could be somebody who just, he really transforms. You know, if he's doing well in the Premier League, he's going to be on Match of the Day. He's going to have a lot more attention around him, and good performances for a team like Chelsea for a good player. It's not impossible to imagine, if you follow me, okay? It's really straightforward, you know. If he starts the first 3 games of next season and gets 1 goal and an assist or something like that, you know, whatever, does well, gets highlighted in the Match of the Day, oh, Chelsea's new signing looks amazing, looks like he's took to it like a duck to water, all this stuff, then 139, even post split, is just going to vanish. Whew. He will really shoot up. Now that's a really long hold we're talking about. We're sitting here now at the back end of March, not even in April yet, and we're talking about matches that will be played in August. You know, so that's a good weight you've got to have on someone. But we know he's going to Chelsea, you know, so speculation aside, it's not like, oh, he's probably, you know, you think about De Ligt, oh, he's probably going to sign for Barcelona or Man City. You know, who could he could sign for anyone, you know, but Pulisic, we know he's going to be at Chelsea, and that USA, that America, it might just, in my opinion, I think he's got a lovely little angle on that he's going to get much more worldwide attention in terms of press, you know. So ESPN is a massive contributor to media on the Football Index, and you know, being American, he's just going to have attention, you know. I just don't see any way around it, you know. The Premier League's got a lot of American owners, a lot of Americans own newspapers, media outlets, and this type, you know, they all want Pulisic to do well. The second one we're going to talk about, again, it's going to be fairly obvious. It was concluded, I think, in January, and that is De Jong, okay? Now, De Jong, if you think he's a top, I've not really seen him, to be honest with you, right? I've not seen as much football this year as I'd liked, but a lot of people have high hopes for him. He's signed for Barca. The thing with Barca now, in my opinion, is they've got a lot of good centre midfielders. Some of them are at the wrong end of their career. I accept that, okay? But the first person I want you to think about when you're thinking about De Jong, okay, is Arthur, okay? Or Artur, depending on who you talk to right now. This time last year, he went through a lot of good movement because he was playing in Brazil. He was signed for Barca. Everyone was calling him the new Iniesta. And on the index, like, as you can see, obviously these prices have all been adjusted, right? So 3 times all these amounts. But it got pretty high for not even, you know, look at July there. He was up at, it says here an average of 83 pence. So what's that going to be, like £2.50? You know, 2.49, something like that. So for 2.49 for a player who's signing for Barca, is not kicking a ball in anything able to qualify in Football Index, is pretty impressive, you know. And he signed for Barca. He's played a few games, you know, and August to November he's starting, he's in the team, he's popped up really well, but he's not actually performed that well on the Football Index in terms of match day scoring or anything like that. So De Jong could be great, but you need to really understand with these players, how do they score on Football Index, you know. So I know he said okay in some Champions League games and whatever, but see when it's a treble match day on a Saturday, you don't know if that's really going to translate to any kind of success. That is, in my opinion, a bit more kind of gambly, okay. The other one that I would certainly, oh, is he not in the top 200? Oh, yes, I've just spelled his name wrong. Is Ramsey. Okay, now Ramsey, as we all know, is a dynamo, right? He's a really good player. He's solid. You know, we've all watched his career, you know, since he's, you know, been at Arsenal, certainly, and if you're maybe Welsh, since he was at Cardiff. But him at Juventus, I just don't see that not working out. Juventus have already come out and said they're going to play him. I forget the name they gave it. It wasn't Trequista, but it was some kind of Italian word, and it was for an attacking midfielder on number 10. That's what they're saying they're going to play him right now. They're telling you Aaron Ramsey is going to be number 10 attacking midfield for Juventus next to almost certainly Ronaldo, quite probably Dybala, Cuadrado, Douglas Costa, if they sign anyone else. And around him in midfield, guys like Khedira and Pjanic. You know, Bernadeschi, you know what I mean? How good has he been this year? So Ramsey, you know, and again, because he's British, he's coming from the English Premier League. If he does well at Juventus, again, the first 3 games of the season, you're not missing out on anything by him being in the Premier League. If anything, it's like that Sancho kind of effect, that being abroad is going to get him extra, and the Gareth Bale kind of, you know, it gets him extra publicity. You know, so Ramsey could be a really great, and as you can see, he's a nice downward now because he's not playing too much for Arsenal, and the market's attention, as I started off the video by saying, the market's attention has went to transfer spec in a really big way for a lot of the reasons we spoke about in the beginning of the video. But as I say, come the middle of August, beginning of September, you could be looking at Ramsey. He's 87 pence. If I told you right now at the beginning of September, end of August, he would be £3, would you be shocked? I don't think you would be, you know. I think even £2.50. Let's be conservative. Where Moise Keane is, right? £2.50. You know, you would believe that very easily. Okay. We're selling some Eriksen, by the way. I'll talk about it in the next video. And then the last person that I've got on my little list to kind of touch on is Benjamin Pavard. Okay. Now Pavard could be very good, okay? Did well in the World Cup. He scored really well in Football Index in the World Cup. He won Best Defender a few times, and he's not done too well for Stuttgart, but Stuttgart are also pretty poor. He plays centre-back or centre-mid for Stuttgart. He won the World Cup at right-back. I don't really know where Bayern are going to play him, to be honest with you. It depends what happens with Hummels and Boateng. But he could be playing centre-back. I don't see him playing right-back because Kimmich is there. I don't, you know, he's a World Cup winner. He's a much sought-after player. He must be told he's playing centre-back or maybe centre-mid, who knows. But that, again, is somebody who will be playing for Bayern in a central area of the pitch where Bayern are going to be spraying the ball from left to right. They're going to get clean sheets. He's going to be, you know, he's going to be part of a successful team. And when he was a part of a successful team last time in Football Index, which was France, he scored really well. And forget the days he scored goals, he still was up there with the best defenders. And I know the World Cup isn't quite the same as a treble match day. It's not like 50 games on or whatever, but, you know, it's still a great barometer, in my opinion, of what he could do. And back then, he was, you know, my friend, a very good friend of mine who got me into Football Index, had Pavard, and I forget the price he was at. So it would have been, yeah, probably about there. So average of 31 pence, so about 90 pence he had him, and then he went up to £1.20, and he did something like that, yeah. £1.50 or something. He did pretty well throughout the World Cup anyway. So he's another one, wee bit more closer to De Jong, in the sense it's an unknown quantity. Don't really know what position he's going to be playing, don't really know what the team's going to look around him. Bayern Munich have come out and said that they're going to be, and this is a kind of segue I guess off of Pavard, but Bayern Munich are quite vocally in the transfer market this summer. They want to buy the best young players around, which is why they were linked with Hudson Odoi, sorry. That was the kind of tagline that Bayern cast out with that, is we want to buy the best youngsters and bring them to Bayern Munich. And that's why they've got Alphonso Davies, and again, maybe even a bit of a segue, you could kind of call him a new transfer. Young guys come in January, he's probably not going to break into the team the concrete. Maybe expect to compare him to Sancho. Sancho's first season to second, you know, that could happen. Alphonso Davies being Canadian again, there's something there. You might want to put him in this bracket, if you like, if you want to be a wee bit lenient with the parameters for that, guys. But I just wanted to drop another video for you tonight and just talk about something a wee bit more. So they're the 4 examples. There might be another couple of transfers that are already done that I've forgotten about. If there is, just drop them a comment below, guys. And I'll chat to you on the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.